All right, welcome to No One Asked for My Opinion. So I was listening to the Tim Dillon podcast on the way home the other day, and he had some journalists on. It wasn't really a comedy podcast like he usually does. It was about the war in Iran that's going on. One of the journalists said Israel or the U.S. might be using AI to pick the targets, and I was like, okay, that's kind of crazy because it's crazy because you don't want to go to war or missile strike anyone, but right, you need human intervention. You need people to look over it. So I didn't want to just take it at face value because that's what I do with most things. So I was like, okay, let me look this up. We got the New Haven Register here. I've never read this newspaper in my life. This could be the worst newspaper in the world. I guess they're in, what is New Haven? Massachusetts, Connecticut, something like that. People are gonna kill me if I don't know. Let me check. Okay, so it's in Connecticut now. I know. So this article just came out 2 hours ago, or it got updated. It says 9:04, but it's 9:01 for me. So I guess an hour ago. Maybe they're on East Coast time. I guess. Outdated intel likely led U.S. to carry out deadly strike on Iranian elementary school. Outdated intel likely led to outdated intel likely led U.S. to carry out deadly strike on Iranian military school. Oh my gosh. Military school is crazy. It wasn't a military school. Okay, I'm not trying to cope. Outdated intel likely led U.S. to carry out deadly strike on Iranian elementary school, AP sources say. Outdated intelligence led to the U.S. carrying out a deadly missile strike on an elementary school that killed over 165 people, and many of them were children. I guess there were teachers in there. So at first, no one wanted to take blame for it. They were saying it could be Israel, could be U.S., it could be whoever, but it was the Tomahawk missile, which I guess the U.S. makes, and they sell to everyone, so I guess it still could be anyone. But yeah, it looks like it's on the U.S. Now here's the part where, right, you wonder if it's AI, because it says U.S. Central Command relied on target coordinates for the strike using outdated data provided by the Defense Intelligence Agency. According to a person familiar with the preliminary finding, which is like, this could be like this could be my uncle on the street. How outdated can coordinates be? Because you have the coordinates, right? You have the coordinates, right? Longitude, latitude. So something must have been there and changed, right? That's what I'm reading it as. So then I find this article. So this from the NPR right here, right? The school was walled off from the base sometime between 2013 and 2016, according to satellite imagery reviewed by the NPR. The public health clinic on base was also struck, and it was walled off from the base around 2024 and 2025. So just to put this in context, this whole thing was some military training complex, military training base, and in between 2013 and 2016, this right here became the girls' school, right? And this is also a health clinic. I think this is still parts of the training base or something like that, but this is walled off. I saw that they had paint on it. It was an all-girls school. They drew murals on it, everything like that. So you see, this is the before, the girls' school, the clinic, and then you go after. Pretty much, I guess all these circles is where the bomb hits. This school got completely cut in half. This base is done. This is hit. They destroyed the clinic. They hit these garden beds. And this is what's leading people to believe the AI picked the target and no one overlooked it, right? It's been 10 years. So at one point in time, someone put these coordinates in here to do a missile strike, and they never bothered to look that it was a girls' school. It was updated on Google Maps, on Google Earth. I want to go on a sidebar here real quick. Regardless if it was AI or not, a human is definitely, or multiple humans, is responsible for this. So the goal of this whole thing is not to like pin the blame on AI. I don't know if that's what the US is going to end up doing. Either way, someone or multiple people should probably face war crimes for this. This is wildly irresponsible. But the question is, did AI launch the missile and no one overlooked it? Or did someone look at the coordinates and hit the button? Either way, both things are crazy, right? What was AI's role in this? And then I go to this article from NPR again, which, they are pretty good at news. But Israel is using an AI system to find targets in Gaza. Experts say just to start. So this is funny. They call their AI system the Gospel, and it helps rapidly identify enemy combatants and equipment while reducing civilian casualties. I don't know if the jury's still out on that. I don't know if we'll ever know if it's truly reducing. We'll never know what it would have been if they didn't use AI. So it's kind of such a silly thing to say reducing. You could aim to reduce, but we don't know if it's helping. At least I don't know if that information is to the public. So here's an article from The Guardian, right? Another newspaper I don't know anything about. The article is more than 1 year old, so take this with a grain of salt, I suppose. March of 2025. Crazy thumbnail, by the way. I'm going to mention that, like, I don't know who made this. I don't know what these words say. And this is the part that really stuck out to me. The unit began building the model to create a sophisticated chatbot-like tool capable of answering questions about people it is monitoring and providing insights into the massive volumes of surveillance data it collects. Don't mind my reading. I'm really not a reader. That's why I'm doing this video and I'm talking. I don't like reading. So this model pretty much, they have cameras everywhere. They take your text. They take what people are reading into the phone, and they try to determine where people are. Right, and now I'm on the worst website in the world. Okay, this guy Mario Nalfall. This is just when I was looking stuff up. These people, all they do is post for engagement. I could very well be spouting off Iran government propaganda, Israeli government propaganda, U.S. propaganda, but I just want to read it. This guy's saying a public park was bombed, and the only reason it was bombed was because the name police was in it. He's saying 2,000 targets hit in under a week requires automation, which is probably true, unless these people have been planning this for a very long time. And then so I go to the comments, and people are so divided. They're saying it's unlikely targets would be evaluated and approved manually. Uh, Based on the stuff, all these countries have been doing lately, I would not put it past them to not evaluate it and approve it. Do they evaluate and approve the all-girls school getting hit? I guess so, if that's the position you want to take. Like, hey, like the AI said this building looks suspicious, so let's just, let's hit the red button, let's bomb it. Who cares? This guy's saying no news that this park has been bombed at all. This is the reason I'm saying this might be Iranian state propaganda. This guy's saying Lions of Zion, right? But he's saying that this guy's spreading propaganda for the Islamic Republic. This guy, Pappy, fan account. I don't know what this means, but he makes a very good point. If this is true, it's crazy proof of AI killing innocents over keyword matches, which is, yeah, that does sound crazy. But here's the thing, stuff sounds crazy when we have no evidence. They've gave us nothing. And also on the other side of the coin, if false, it's still a symptom of how fast propaganda fills the fog of war. Yeah. So two things on this. If this is true, we'll never know, because will they ever say if it was AI or if it was a human? Will the person who ever did this be arrested? And I'm not talking about police park. I'm talking about the girls' school. I don't even know if the police park thing happened. Um, and if false, the fog of war, yes. There's just insane AI videos coming out about stuff being bombed. We'll really never know if this is true. You're gonna have to do like you're gonna have to really dedicate your life, and that's what some people do. And then you try to talk to them, and they'll tell you all about it, and you kind of don't talk to them anymore at work. You just let them do what they want to do. Here's one from a few days ago. This week in Worcester. I've never heard of this one. I don't even know how to say this word, but I guess this is Massachusetts. I don't know. The East Coast is coming up with a lot of stuff. Good for them, I guess. AI error likely led to girls' school bombing in Iran. Now, this is the stuff I'm talking about, right? This is the article I've been looking for the whole time. We just wasted, I wasted 5 minutes of your time right there, 10 minutes of your time. So this is really the big thing right here, right? There is no evidence at this time that the U.S. military intentionally targeted the school. I hope not, right? Everyone hopes that they didn't intentionally target, but the kids are still dead. A compound near the school was previously associated with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. This is what I'm talking about, that compound that I showed you. It was one big compound until it got walled off 10 years ago. So this newspaper that I've never heard of, which I don't know any newspaper, so that's not saying much. They spoke with the Department of Justice appointee on the condition of anonymity. I know this word means they're anonymous, but it's hard for me to pronounce it. I apologize. Citing an ongoing and active investigation. So this guy comes out, if this is a true story, the immediate theory is that the AI program included the school's position based on an older archived intelligence. The logic behind the launch and the mechanics of who authorized it is unclear. And then they talked to a logistics programmer in the Department of Defense. The department rapidly scaled up its use of a cloud-based system over the past year, integrating it with many core operational decisions. This guy going out on top, whistleblower of the year. They are gung-ho about this program and want to use it for everything. Most of their operational planning is done using this software, although there are some things that we have designed in-house. So, right, a lot of people are facing this at work. Claude, everyone's using Copilot, Claude, and you're using it to, like, make your Excel sheet better. You're using it to email, you're using it to cheat on your test, you're using it to probably, you're using it to write your vows to your wife. People are using this for everything, and that just goes to show people are using it to bomb people, right? So the question is, should this be allowed, right? When you talk about trench warfare, how was it Geneva Convention, Right. So if you talk about all this stuff like the Geneva Convention and all these other wartime acts and stuff put in place to stop people from suffering like crazy, you have chemical and biological weapons banned. You have anti-personnel landmines, and some of these are treaties, cluster munitions, and you know, is this something that should be added? AI, is AI something that should be added to this list? I mean, if you're just gonna have it shoot people at a wedding because you think Osama bin Laden's son is there and he's not even in the same country, then it seems kind of silly. Right? We don't want to shoot missiles, but if we do, we need a human doing it, right? They said AI is taking our jobs, but it's not supposed to take. You know, I thought if you worked in government, you had good job security. I guess not, but that's all I really had. And feel free to leave your opinion. Tell me if I'm wrong. I probably am, but tell me what you think about this. Thank you.